After studying this module, you shall be able to know and understand the concept and features of cooperative inquiry, learn about skills required for cooperative inquiry, learn about phases and different forms of cooperative inquiry. Cooperative inquiry facilitates the understanding of the world and helps in developing new and imaginative way of looking at different things. In other words, it is a mode of functioning with people who have similar interests and concern. It is a strategy in which there are co-researchers whose decision making and thinking contributes to generating ideas, designing and managing the project. It is a strategy in which there are co-researchers whose decision making and thinking contributes to generating ideas, designing and managing the project and drawing conclusions from the experience. It is sometimes also called as collaborative inquiry. In cooperative inquiry, a group of people get together to investigate the issues of concern and interests. Each member of the group provides ideas and is a part of activity that is being investigated. Each member has the right to decide the questions that are to be addressed in research. Therefore, each member has a contribution in the conclusion reached by the cooperative inquiry group. John Heron first proposed the concept of cooperative inquiry, which was later on expanded by Peter Reason. To do research with people rather than on people is the foremost idea of cooperative inquiry. It highlights that all co-researchers actively participate in the research decisions. There are 4 different types of knowledge that form a research cycle in cooperative inquiry. A. Practical knowing, which includes the knowledge that we get from doing something and is expressed in terms of skills and competence. B. Experiential knowing, which includes the information that we get when we have face-to-face interaction with other people. C. Propositional knowing, which is expressed in the informative statement and includes knowing through ideas and theories. D. Presentational knowing, which includes the representation of experiential knowing in the form of story, dance, movement, drawing and sculpture by Reason in 1999. There are various defining features of cooperative inquiry. In the reflection phase, all the active subjects are completely immersed in all the decisions about both method and content. There is deliberate interplay between reflection and action. In cooperative inquiry, there are various procedures that help in improving the quality of knowing. The cooperative inquiry can be both informative and transformative of any aspect of the human condition that is accessible to a clear body mind, that is, one that has an open, absolute awareness. Skills required while conducting cooperative inquiry. There are some skills that are important while conducting a cooperative inquiry. These are as follows. 1. Being present and open. This skills basically talks about compassion and importance. It also includes openness to new experiences, classification of our perception of objects and events, so that we can be more participative to its crucial meaning. 2. Radical practice and congruence. While doing cooperative inquiry, the researcher should have skill of radical practices and congruence, which is simply means that the researcher should be aware of the purpose and the outcome, underlying values, its motive and defining norms. Being aware of any lack of resemblance between these different features of action and adjusting them accordingly are also included in these skills. Third, non-attachment and meta-intentionality. This skill or ability is concerned with the purpose of the research and not with one's identity and emotional security in an action. It also includes having various alternative behavior and considering their probable consequences and implication to the entire situation. 4. Emotional competence. This skill helps in identifying and managing emotional states in various ways. This skill focuses on keeping action free from alteration driven by the condition of early years and unprocessed distress. Procedures that help in improving quality of knowing in cooperative inquiry. According to Peter Reason in 1999, there are some procedures that help in improving the quality of knowing in cooperative inquiry. These are as follows. 1. Research cycling. In cooperative inquiry, there are 4 phases of inquiry which represents a cycle between action and reflection. This cycle continues for several times, looking at different angles, trying different ways of behaving and creating different ideas. The research cycle can be convergent or divergent. When co-researchers look at the same issues similar times in order to gain more details, then the research cycling is convergent. Whereas, if co-researchers focus on different issues on successive cycles, then the research cycle is divergent. 2. Balance of action and reflection. It is advisable to spend more time reflecting in order to assemble together the experiences in the earlier stages of inquiry and to focus on trying out different actions and reflection depending on the topic being investigated is important in later stages. Third, developing critical attention. The researcher should possess a skill that helps them to look at their experiences with curiosity in order to understand it in a better way. This ability or skill is developed with the help of research cycling. 4. Authentic collaboration. In cooperative inquiry, it is important that the co-researchers work in a way that are collaborative. That is, all the members should mutually agree to the way of doing work. In cooperative inquiry group, it is not important that everyone has same roles, such as one person may have more knowledge about the subject, other person may help group to learn together, etc. In order to facilitate equal contributions within a group, there should be a rotation of formal leadership around the group. 5th, dealing with distress. In cooperative inquiry, while the researcher is ready to investigate their lives and experiences in depth and in details, they also include the things or experiences that the researcher wants to avoid because they are uncomfortable. So the group needs to help the person to reduce their distress of grief, anger and fear. It is likely that the findings will be distorted by the buried emotions if the group does not pay attention to the management of distress. 6th, chaos and order. In cooperative inquiry, there should be balance between disorder and order. In the inquiry, divergence, thoughts and expression is likely to descend into confusion, vagueness, disorder and perhaps chaos. Only when the group is creative and open to put at risk to reach out for truth beyond fear and collusion, then once, by reason in 1999. Phases of cooperative inquiry. There are 4 phases of reflection and action through which cooperative inquiry. Phase 1. In the first phase of cooperative inquiry, a group of researchers joined together to investigate the decided area of human activity. The member of this group or co-researcher may be anyone who wishes to study a desired area of interest, such as it may be a professional who wish to explore a particular area of practice, or families who wish to find new styles of life, or a sick people who want to investigate the impact of particular healing practices. All the members of the group decides an area of focus for their inquiry and agree on it. Then they form together a set of questions they want to study and decide on the method to be used for investigating this crucial idea in action through practical experience. They create and agree to a set of procedures for collecting and recording data from their experience, audio or video recording, diaries or self-assessment rating scale, or a feedback from the clients after they have decided about the method to be used by reason in 1999. For example, a group of health visitors were invited in southwest England in order to form an inquiry group to explore the sources of stress in their work. After some resistance to the idea that they could be researchers, they decided to focus on the problems such as child abuse, depression and drug taking in the families they visit, which are unexpressed and unexplored. Phase 2. In the second phase of cooperative inquiry, the co-subjects who were earlier the co-researchers focuses on the action they have agreed. Observe and record the process and outcomes of their own and each other's action and experience. For having a better understanding of their experience, they simply watch what it is that happens to them. They may start trying out new forms of action later on. In order to see whether practice conform to their original ideas or not, they notice the enhancement of experience carefully and they hold lightly the theoretical framework from which they started by reason in 1999. Phase 3. In the third phase of cooperative inquiry, it is a standard of inquiry method. The co-subjects becomes completely engrossed in and occupied with their action and experience. In order to see what is going on in a new way, they develop a degree of openness that is free from any preconceptions. They may sometimes become so much involved in what they are doing that they forget that they are the part of the inquiry group. This deep engagement in experiences provides us a new understanding that results from the inquiry and that makes it different from the other conventional research by Reason in 1999. Phase 4. Co-researcher may reframe these ideas of interest or may reject them and pose new questions. In fact, the final phase of cooperative inquiry, they may focus on the same or different aspects of the overall inquiry, or they may decide for the other cycle of action. The group may focus on improving its inquiry procedure or ways of gathering data by Reason in 1999. Different forms of cooperative inquiry. There are two types of groups in cooperative inquiry. One group is the one that is familiar with the method of inquiry, which selects an area of inquiry and invites others to join in who are interested in the topic. This group is set by one or two initiating researchers, where some initiating researchers may be completely immersed with the field of study and some initiating researcher may be external to the focus of the group. There are various forms of inquiry that focus on the practices or culture within a social role. These include 1. Same role inquiry. The inquiry in which every member of the group has same role, such as health visitor, and are concerned with the characteristic of their practice within the role. 2. Reciprocal role inquiry. The inquiry in which more than one people interact within a role of equal status, such as partner, friends, and inquiry into the interaction. 3. Counterpartal role inquiry. The inquiry which deals with the relationship between practitioner and client and focuses on what this relationship is trying to achieve. 4. Mixed role inquiry. This inquiry deals with several different kinds of practitioners. They may find out similarities and differences in their various modality of practice. If they work together, then they may pay attention to aspects of this, as in the inquiry involving various compensatory therapists and general medical practitioners, investigating issues of power, conflict involved in the collaboration by Reason in 1991. Different forms of inquiry can also be divided on the basis of where the action phase is focused. 5th, inside inquiries. Inside inquiries take place when the action phases occur in the same place within the whole group. This includes two types of inquiries: group interaction inquiries and group-based inquiries. A. Group interaction inquiry is concerned with what goes on inside the inquiry group, such as members are studying their individual and collective experience of the group processes. B. Group-based inquiry, when all action phases occur in similar space, but in some phases there may be paired or small group activities done side by side, or each person doing their own individual activity side by side with everyone else. Outside inquiry. When the group member, working or personal lives are focused outside the group meeting, it is called outside inquiry. In this inquiry, the group members came together in reflection phase in order to share the data, make meaning of it, and modify their thinking in planning the next action phase in light of all this. Group members separate at each action phase. Summary: cooperative inquiry facilitates the understanding of the world and helps in developing new and creative way of looking at different things. There are 4 different types of knowledge that forms a research cycle in cooperative inquiry: practical knowing, experiential knowing, propositional knowing, and presentational knowing. There are some skills that are important while conducting a cooperative inquiry. These skills include being present and open, radical practice and congruence, non-attachment and meta-intentionality, and emotional competence. Research cycling, balance of action and reflection, developing critical attention, authentic collaboration, dealing with distress and chaos, and order. These are some procedures that help in improving the quality of knowing in cooperative inquiry. There are 4 phases of reflection and action through which a cooperative inquiry cycles. Different forms of cooperative inquiry include social role inquiry, counterpartal role inquiry, mixed role inquiry, outside inquiry, inside inquiry, transpersonal inquiry, open boundary inquiry and closed boundary inquiry.